Hey everyone, so it's been a couple months since I've done a fanfiction recommendations video, and I really hope I don't forget some of the ones I've been reading for the past couple months because my Tumblr got deleted like I've previously stated before, and so a lot of my fic recs that I haven't put on these videos were in there, so I hope I didn't forget some, but if I do happen to remember them, I'll put them in the next video. I'm going to start with KURTBASTIan first, Kurt and Sebastian fics. If you don't like them, just skip to the KLAINE parts, and I will have some other fic recs at the end as well that aren't either. So, yay. The first one I am in love with, it's probably one of my favorite KURTBASTIan fics, is Before You Met Me by LO Doctor. The student raised his eyebrow at Kurt, but held out his hand. Sebastian Smythe, feeling slightly apprehensive. Kurt shook it. Kurt Hummel, an AU. If Kurt had met Sebastian instead of Blaine when he went to spy on the Warblers. I love this fic because it is platonic KLAINE as well as just the three of them being friends and Blaine with somebody else, and at least he's happy, and it's something new that I don't see a lot in KURTBASTIan fics, so that's really why I enjoyed it, and I just love the pace of this fic. It was really good. A really big KURTBASTIan fic in the KURTBASTIan fandom is number 20 by Dare You to Be Me. Kurt's life isn't shaping up to be what he expected. He's still single. He isn't a Broadway star. He just lost his job, which he hated anyways. But he was about to watch the most on and off and most on again, off again couple known to man to get married, aka Finn and Rachel. To make matters worse, he just learned that the amount of guys he slept with and is twice as much as what considered the average in the USA. This is based off the movie What's Your Number with Anna Faris and Chris Evans, so you should go see that movie before you read the fic, or at least while you're reading it, because it makes a lot of comparisons, but it has a different twist for sure, obviously. Should be an interesting year. She has a bunch of different URLs. Like this one is I Love the Sound of Violins, which is on her fanfiction website, account, but also on Tumblr she has a different name, so if it's a little bit confusing. I just love this fic. It's one of my definitely new favorites. Is Kurt and Sebastian wind up being college roommates, unfortunately, and they really hate each other, and Blaine and Kurt are still dating, and there's a lot of KLAINE in there, so if you're not really into a lot of KLAINE with your KURTBASTIan, I wouldn't recommend it, but the slow pace of Sebastian liking Kurt is really great. I love it. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did, but I do. If Work Permits by Artists and Artists, by the way, should be an interesting year, is a work in progress. The other ones are not. If Work Permits by Artists, The Proposal AU, Sebastian is a demanding, emotional, detached editor of a fashion magazine, and Kurt is his assistant, desperate to be employed in the fashion industry in order to get his name out there and start his own clothing line. When Sebastian fears his work visa won't be renewed, he demands that Kurt marries him so he can get a green card and avoid deportation back to France. So if you have seen The Proposal, the movie Proposal with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds, it's definitely like that, but definitely not. It just has that kind of theme to it. It's really, once it gets it going, it's really nothing like it that much, except for the boss falling in love with the assistant and the other way around, they hate each other, that kind of stuff. Unfaithful by Star Gleek Bell. This is also work in progress. I believe it's probably ending soon. I'm not really sure. Kurt and Sebastian are freshmen at Tisch School of Arts. Since Kurt was accepted late, he wasn't able to get a dorm on campus. Sebastian offered Kurt the spare room in the lavish apartment his parents were paying for, hoping that they would solidify their friendship. Neither knew that their sharing the space of what will lead to be forbidden love, heartbreak, and betrayal. So it is infidelity in there. That's a lot of, a common theme within KURTBASTIan fics, just letting you know. It's very infidelity-ness. So The Boys of Summer by More Than Tonight. A camera, a jacket pin, a phone, a lemon balm leaves, a bottle cap, a box of condoms, a box of sleeping pills, not necessarily in that order. On one of the last days of summer before college, Sebastian thinks about the most eventful summer of his life and the items related to it. Each one of the 7 items tells a story of the 2 boys of that summer and how they came closer. It is a story about friendship, love, and overcoming obstacles. It's a very good, dramatic, angsty fic. Strangers by A Made Up of Love, or Hengilas. I don't know what her main domain is. Kurt and Sebastian start talking through an online chat room, not realizing it's each other, to develop a friendship that starts to lead into more, at which point Kurt has to decide what he will do with Blaine. So he's not really technically cheating, but kind of is, and they're kind of on the rocks, and this fic's almost over, by the way. I think there's one more chapter. Swallow Me by Fly Blackbird Fly. The 3 months of Kurt's collegiate career, I don't know that word, hadn't exactly gone as planned. He's in New York, which is amazing. He's newly single, which is not, and his roommate at NYU is Sebastian Smythe, which is clearly not good. Though he's mentally prepared himself to be constantly sexual due to his roommate's promiscuous behavior, it isn't until one night when he walks on in something unexpected that finds out just how wrong he was in the making that assumption. God, I can't talk. I'm sorry. So it's basically Sebastian is a virgin. So read it. It's good smut. Let Me In by Hyde Unspoken. There's one more chapter left and it hasn't been updated in a while, but the rest of the chapters are good. I just finished catching up with it. Kurt Hummel finds an unexpected acquaintance with Sebastian Smythe after a tough breakup. He tries to keep their fling a strict friends with benefit situation, but Sebastian starts to break through his carefully guarded walls, even though he isn't necessarily an open book either. And A Better Look by Spookiatus. Sebastian is a law student at Columbia who, as of late, has to spend his unfortunate amount of time at the New York Public Library, and a quick-witted young writer with hair worthy of a mad scientist and a challenge unlike any Sebastian has ever had seen before. Sorry, I just can't read today. I can never read when I do these. Okay, on to the KLAINE Fics. One of my favorite ever is Faith, Trust, and Pixie Dust by Eloria. After a bad breakup with the love of his life, Blaine Anderson, his senior year of high school, Kurt Hummel had pretty much given up on his dreams and instead focused on reality. Still, it's kind of difficult to mock the dreams of the brides he plans his wedding for, especially when he begins for working the one place where dreams are made, the Disney's wedding groups at Walt Disney World. It's even more difficult to turn a blind eye to his own dreams when Blaine turns up as portraying Disney's hottest new character, the Swan Prince, and he begins a ridiculous campaign of attempting to win Kurt back that includes castles, fireworks, fairy tales, and a giant walking mouse. Blaine needs to break past the walls that Kurt has built up over the last 6 years. Is that special Disney magic enough to prove to him that dreams can really come true? I love these kind of fics. I love ones that involve Florida because I'm from Florida and I've been to Disney World, so it's kind of like I can picture the things that are there, so I really enjoy that. Take It Like a Man, which is almost over, by the way, by Idle Tina and Penguin Utopia. Of Legally Blonde AU, Blaine Anderson has it all. He is a member of both the polo and fencing clubs, founder of the charity Songbirds in Schools, and the lead soloist of the university's famous all-male a cappella group, the Warblers. In his senior year at UCLA, Blaine, a show choir major, wants nothing more to be the future Mr. Blaine Anderson Smythe. When Sebastian breaks up with Blaine, instead of proposing, he heads off to more serious life at Harvard Law. Blaine sets his sights on the following love of his life to Bastion to win him back, but Harvard holds a lot more obstacles than Blaine is anticipated, challenging coursework, Santana Lopez, and an admittedly cute graduate by the name of Kurt Hummel. So yes, it does have some sub-Blaine stuff in there, but it is a KLAINE fic, and it's very much like Legally Blonde, where Blaine is Elwood, so picture it's very cute. I love that. Near Mrs. Blythe by Flaming Muse, another one of my favorites. Kurt and Blaine could easily not have met on a staircase in high school. They could have met a few years later in college instead. So this whole premise is they hook up and then they find out that they're like, and their friends are friends with each other, so like they have to like pretend they don't know each other, but then they realize that they had like the best sex of their lives, so like they don't know what to do. It is angsty though. Hurricane, but a phrase that cuts these lips. It's very angsty. I'm just gonna let you know, it's warning, self-harm is in this or whatever. 2 years after Kurt and Blaine's divorce, Kurt finally wins custody of their daughter. A week later, Blaine attempts suicide. He has nowhere else to go, so Kurt volunteers to take him in, believing that he can help Blaine. Like I said, very, very angsty, but it's really well written. I was very hesitant to read it, but I'm definitely glad I did. Expectations Expectation Fails by Liliana's, I don't know how to say that, and a DS, so a Dom sub AU, where your soulmate appears on the wrist, left for Dom, right for sub. During puberty, Blaine and Kurt are marked with each other's names, but Kurt the Dom is a 16-year-old high school student, and Blaine the sub is his 27-year-old history teacher. Very smutty, very good, but it also has a lot of, you know, regular storyline to it as well. In the World of Silence by Miss Q. This is a work in progress as well, but it's one of my friggin' favorite smuts. I don't even know why, I just love it. Kurt and Blaine overcome their inhibitions together, or 5 times Kurt tops and 1 time he doesn't. Consents and I have no idea how to say that, but when I dance, I don't know what it's called. AU, in which Blaine is 4 years older than Kurt, and therefore they never met at Dalton. Kurt ends up at OCU, Ohio State University, instead of NYC, where Blaine is a grad student turned professor and also the object of Kurt's crushing his sophomore and junior years. So it's Teacher KLAINE, hey. Blackbird by Not Unusual Fic. Blaine has certain expectations of his new school. Kurt Hummel was not one of them. Nerd Blaine, bad boy Kurt, which they're also both pretending or doesn't know that they're straight. I think it has a little bit of Blaine chill in there as well. Hearts and Halls, Beautiful, What's Your Hurry? A cold winter's night finds Kurt stranded at some car trouble, only to bring him face to face with a sick, shivering homeless boy beneath a bridge. That boy, of course, turns out to be Blaine. Angsty, but romance, very good. Of course, Jamie's always has really good fics. Crema, that's what it's called, by Two Birds, One Song. Kurt's just landed a job at Vogue as Carrie Bradshaw's assistant. One of his tasks is to bring her coffee in the morning. Enter Blaine, the shy, adorable barista who catches his eye. It's a lot of one-shots into a fic thing. I don't know, it's really good. It's like really well written. I can't even describe it. Wind Me Up and Watch Me Go by Impromptu Coffee. After being given Kurt a roller coaster of feelings over the years, starting at confusion all the way up to thinking it's the best thing that's ever happened to him after Blaine, of course. So this is Boy Pussy Kurt, and I know some people don't like it, but oh my god, it's like freaking amazingly written. I'm like, holy shit, it's really good smut. Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf by Skin Tight Socks, a future fic where Kurt dresses up as Little Red Riding Hood and goes to a college Halloween party with Blaine where people mistake him for Blaine's girlfriend. So they get to like have public sex because they don't think that it's a boy that Blaine's dating. And they're like, oh yeah, your girlfriend's hot. It's Not Babysitting by Anxious Squirrel, and there's really no description because it's on the Glee Kink meme, so I'll kind of describe it, and it's just finished, by the way. It's basically Kurt is like best friends with Sebastian and Cooper, and they're older, they're like 10 years older than Blaine, and Blaine comes to visit in the summer, and he's not really close with Cooper, but he wants to get away from his family in Ohio, and somehow Kurt's attracted to him and Blaine's attracted to him, and they kind of have this secret romance going on, even though they're unsure of what Cooper will think. And because at first they're just kind of like friends because Cooper's not there, and Kurt decided he would show him around the city, not like in a sexual way yet, and eventually something blooms into it. So I don't know, it's really good. It gives you a lot of feels, at least I think it does, and I like it. The More You Give by When I Dance, when Blaine Anderson gets a fresh start at McKinley in 1997 thanks to his best friend Rachel Berry, her parents Emma Pillsbury, and the group of misfits that would become the New Directions. The last thing he expects to gain from playing it is straight, and dating Quinn Faberry is a daughter at the age of 16. Fast forward to present day where Blaine is raising Sugar as a single dad in the same sleepy town of Lima he grew up in. When Sugar is recruited at the beginning of her sophomore year by Will Schuester to join the New Directions and deeply falls in love at first sight with one of the co-captains, Blaine isn't sure what to think, especially since Kurt Hummel is quite out of her league, being 3.5 years older and, well, gay. So it's basically, I don't know if you can understand from the description, Blaine and Quinn date when they're in high school, and I guess she has the baby, but then I think he raises it because she dies. And so Sugar's end up being her daughter. His daughter, don't be like thinking that's weird, because they're like, it's just, yeah, just how the AU works. And she like is in love with Kurt, and then Kurt and Blaine meet, and he's like, I think your love of your life is gay, Sugar. And eventually they start to like each other. Hail to whatever you found in the sunlight that surrounds you by Water Nix. On the 3rd of August in Blaine Anderson's 9th year, something momentous happens. He sees a boy crying on the beach and decides to do something about it. What he gets in return is the best friend, a confidant, and an ally to help him get through the ups and downs. They spend 1 month together every summer, one perfect month until they're old enough to escape together. 11 Augusts and the letters in between. I really like this because it's like romance in between letters, and every year they see each other again, and they only have that summer to be together, and it's very sweet. White Horses by Happy and Chintz 72, a local P-flag scheme uses the lost art of letter writing to bring people together. So they're like, Kurt and Blaine are pen pals, and eventually they start to become really close, and they want to meet eventually, but they're not sure how their relationship will go after that. When I Turn Out the Lights by Face the Fall, cross-dressing. Blaine enjoys wearing panties in this one. Yeah, I have a huge lingerie kink, so sometimes I like to read that. And so Kurt discovers an old lingerie catalog by Blaine's bed, except it's not what he thinks at all. And there's also a sequel to it called Had a Pretty Face by Face the Fall. Blaine and Kurt get together for an early morning Skype date. Kurt notices something a little different underneath Blaine's pajamas, aka one of the things that they ordered in the previous fic. The Other Side of Someday by Switch 842, Kurt Hummel has given up childish dreams of love and romance and was just going through life one day at a time. Then the voice of America's News Pop serenaded him through the radio, and it changed his life forever. Maybe Kurt's fairy tales could come true after all, with Blaine Anderson as his prince. My Body Betrays Me by Emiliana Darling. Ella Enchanted inspired AU. Kurt is magically compelled to follow orders. His roommate at Dalton, Dave Karofsky, takes advantage. Blaine just wants to make everything alright again. It's very, very angsty. It's definitely as if warnings of rape and unwanted sex and dubcon or non-con, I don't know what it is. And Blaine kind of just comes to the rescue after that. So it is KLAINE's story. Maybe not the KLAINE story that everybody wants to read, but it's still very, very good. Sparks Fly by Game Boy Color, a Season 2 AU where Kurt and Blaine are character swaps. So Blaine is Blaine Hummel and Kurt is Kurt Anderson, and it just kind of goes through that, but the opposite way. And there's really, it kind of slowly builds up to their friendship, is just like it was in Season 2. Right Where I Belong by Logs, don't know. Kurt and Rachel finally arrive to New York, where not everything is easy or amazing as they imagined, especially their next door neighbor, a shy and mysterious boy named Blaine Anderson. All the Other Ghosts by Rain Joy. It's a big city for one more lost soul in a mask, a superhero fic. I have not caught up with this fic because I didn't know it was being updated. I never even thought about it because I always would just expect people to blog it on Tumblr. But yeah, so it's still really good. I've only read like 2 chapters, and there's like 11 right now. But it's like Kurt's a superhero and Blaine is like his admirer. It kind of reminds me of Kick-Ass a little bit. Yeah, kind of like, you know, is that what I'm thinking of, Kick-Ass? I don't know, one of those superhero fics, they have like a fans, and they're like really not that, I can't even describe it, but yeah, go read it, it's good. Okay, I've already filmed and edited and put all my fic recs together, but I have been reading a couple of them in between that video, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to add them, but I definitely want to, so I am going to mention them on this video. The first one is a KLAINE fic called Everlasting by Michelle Mabel, which is Trey Bell Michelle, who wrote I Will Grow Your Garden and Something to Sleep To. For some time passes slowly, for the Hummels it doesn't exist. It is the summer of 1914, and at the tender age of 17, Blaine Anderson is Lima, Ohio's most eligible bachelor. But for Blaine, one thing is true: the heat of summer is not nearly as stifling as the formality of his life. When Blaine seeks freedom in the forest that he has called to him since his childhood, he comes across a boy and a family who are unlike anything he has ever known, and the course of his life changes forever. I love this fic. it is based off the book and movie Tuck Everlasting, which I saw as a kid, but I don't remember anything from it. So I had to read up on it and what it meant and I don't know how I figured out it was Tuck Everlasting. I must have read a comment, somebody's talking about it, but I thought that's really cool. I love when movies and books are influence to fics because I love that. I love it. I would wish so many fics would be made from movies and books and different things. So I enjoyed it and I loved the ending. It was probably one of my favorite endings of every fic, of any fic, because it was really, really good. Another KLAINE fic I want to add is A Stranger Heart by Precious Mellow. Living on the streets of New York isn't easy for anyone, but for Blaine, it's all he has and all he thinks he deserves until Kurt comes into his life and sees past the tattered gloves and worn guitar and offers something that Blaine never had a chance. Also, another fic I want to add is Jitters. Blaine gets up at 5 a.m. every day to serve coffee with Santana Lopez, and that is the easiest part of his day. As he starts his sophomore year at NYU, Blaine tries to navigate his inevitable conquering of Tish while figuring out how to talk to the beautiful boy who started frequenting the coffee shop. There might be dragons involved. I love this. The artist drew for the fic is really good. And then I want to add a Faberry fic, which is called Undeniable. Rachel is just starting at NIADA and Quinn is at Yale. Explores the evolution of their relationship as they share the experiences of being freshmen at college while 80 miles apart. I haven't finished this. I'm only like a couple chapters in, but it's looks like one of the biggest Faberry fics I've ever seen response. So I think it'll be really good, and it has 40 something chapters, so I have a while to go, but it looks really good, and I love those unrequited love kind of things. So on back to the regular Recs. Okay, and on to my other fics that are not KLAINE or KURTBASTIan. This is going to be some Subclean, and I'm a huge Subcleaner. My URL on Tumblr is Subclean, so best URL ever. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which is one of my favorite fics ever by Casaphony Lights, who wrote A Change in the Weather. A slightly AU feature fic. Kurt and Blaine Sebastian travel to the Hudmo home for Thanksgiving. It's the first time they visit as a trio, and Bert isn't too thrilled about the addition. Awkward family times and shenanigans. It's basically Kurt and Blaine Sebastian are dating. That's what Subclean kind of is. Sometimes it doesn't always. It just could be just sex, but they're all three dating. It's kind of complicated to understand that the polygamy, but I enjoy it. I think all three of them loving each other is great because I love KLAINE, I love KURTBASTIan, I love Blaine, so why not all them three together? And there's some smut in there, and there's also times where Kurt is trying to make his family understand this relationship that he has with both Blaine and Sebastian, and they all have with each other, and they're sharing each other and loving each other, and they're just a regular relationship, but just with three people. Fill Me With Your Poison by Love 3 is Six Love. Kurt and Blaine want to spice up their sex life a bit after 7 long years together, but what materialized out of what was intended to merely be a one-night stand with Sebastian would knock all three of them off their feet. This is a work in progress. It doesn't get updated very much, but I love it. I should read it again. I love this one. Holy crap, it's very good. Very good. And it kind of, goes through all of them. She's definitely, the writer I know is more of a KURTBASTIan shipper, so maybe it's a little more centric on that. So, movie night. Blaine likes picking horror movies for movie night, and Kurt and Sebastian find a good way to distract himself. This one is more focused on Kurt and Sebastian. While Blaine is there, it's mainly focused on them. This is written by Casaphony Lights, and there is a sequel, part 2 is what it's called, in which it's Kurt's turn to pick the film, and Blaine is really looking forward to ignoring it with Sebastian's help. So this one's more Blaine and Sebastian centric. So the first one's more of KURTBASTIan, the second one's more of Subclean, so you pick or choose, I don't know. And those are both by Casaphony Lights. She has a Hunder Smythe, I think is what she calls it, verse, so there's a couple more things in there, I think, I'm not really sure. And a couple random ones that are just kind of mixed. Ain't No Particular Sign by Skin Tight Socks. What she's trying to say, Santana tells him, is that Brittany speaks very highly of your kissing skills, and my girl doesn't lie. I don't know what she knows. I don't know if she knows how actually. That made sense, right? sorry, aka Brittany, says Kurt's a good kisser, and then everyone in the direction wants a piece. Aw, yeah. Literally, everyone in the directions except for Will, because that'd be creepy, but literally all the students in New Directions are like, Kurt, can I kiss you? Yeah, I love the Kurt and Mike one especially. I don't know, I just love it. This is season 1, by the way. It's not season 2. Sam's not there or anything. And Matt's still there. What Doors May Open by Casey's Choice of AFI, which is a Faberry fic. Love it. I'm going to link you to a trailer, fan-made trailer of this fic before you read it. It's so, so good. It makes it look like it's an actual movie. Rachel comes out as gay after dumping Finn. People slowly start to find out, and when head cheerio Quinn Faberry finds out, Rachel knows her life will never be the same again. But she's not really out. She only really is out to Kurt and Finn and Quinn and Brittany and Santana. I think that's mainly it. And her dad's. But it's still very, very, oh my god, so good. I never read a Faberry fic before that, but it was genius, like freaking well written. And there's no smut in there, but it's still very good. Making Angels Cry by Sedonic. Quinn had a list of things to do before she graduates. Rachel helps. This is very sad fic. I was like crying. You Might Need Me, a Kurt and Sam or Kong fic by Nimbu. Junior year doesn't go the way that Kurt expects. This is a season 2 rewrite if Kurt and Sam were meant to date, but not really, but kind of, but Blaine's not there, so yeah, I guess it is season 2, and it's still a work in progress. It hasn't been updated in a while, so. Chris, Darren, Grant, It's All for Show by Fics to Criticism. I love her writing. Grant's invited to rehearse with Darren and Chris. Rehearsing soon becomes a euphemism? Sure. That one's really smutty and good. I never read one with Grant in there, so I love that. Friggin' I want more Grant and Chris fics, but it's really hard to find. So that's all for the Fic Recs. I hope you enjoyed them. Sorry there was a lot. I just haven't done one of these in a while, and I've been reading a lot of different ones, especially KURTBASTIan, so when you put KLAINE and KURTBASTIan, it's just a lot. And I hopefully will have some Subclean next time. I really want to start reading in them, or Faberry. I want to start reading more beyond those than just the ones that I'm safe at. So there's to that, and I hope to see y'all from my next Fic Rec video, whenever that is. And thank you so much for watching and subscribing. My Tumblr is subclean.tumblr.com, and my Twitter is subclains with an S at the end. So kind of keeping the theme here. Yeah, love me some Subclean. Also, I commissioned some Subclean art, so I will put a link to that as well if you want to see if you haven't. It's my icon on Tumblr, but beyond that, it's just really hot. So I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the fics. They're all in links below.